Hari Om. Let us chant from verses 11 to 20 of chapter 5. Kayena manasa buddhya kevalaihrindriyairapi yogina karma kurvanti sangam tyaktvatma shuddhaye yukta karma phalam tyaktva shanti mapnoti naishtikim ayukta kamakarena phale sakto nibadhyate sarva karmani manasa sannyasyaaste sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvan nakarayan nakartritvam nakarmani lokasya srijati prabhuho nakarma phala samyogam svabhavastu pravartate nadatte kasyachit papam nachaiva sukritam vibhuho ajnanena vritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha jnanena tu tadajnanam yesham nashitanmatmanaha tesham adityavajnanam prakashayati tatparam tadbuddhayastadaatmanaha tannishthaastatparayanaha gacchantya punaravrittim jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gabihastini shunishchaiva shvapakecha pandita samadarshinaha ihaiva tairjita sargaha yesham samye stitham manaha nirdosham hi samam brahma tasmad brahmani te stithaha na prahrishyet priyam prapya no dvijet prapya cha priyam sthira buddhira sammudhaha brahma vid brahmani stitaha.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We continue from verse number 16 onwards. Verse number 16 reads: Jnanena tutadjnanam yesham nashitam atmanah tesham adityavajnanam prakashayati tatparam. Jnanena tutadjnanam yesham nashitam atmanah tesham adityavajnanam prakashayati tatparam. Meaning, but in whom ignorance is destroyed by knowledge, in them knowledge reveals the Supreme like the sun. But in whom ignorance is destroyed by knowledge, in them knowledge reveals the supreme, like the sun. He's explaining the fact that knowledge alone removes ignorance. He's removing the fact, he's proving the fact, he's establishing the fact that knowledge alone removes ignorance. In the preparatory practices of Karma Yoga and all that, Karma Yoga, whatever the preparatory practices are, predominantly doing happens there. In Karma Yoga and in Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and all that, there is doing something. In Jnana Yoga, it is knowing. It is not doing, it is knowing. That is the difference. And we have discussed, whenever we mean Jnanam in Vedanta, Jnanam means the oneness of Jivatma and Paramatma, the oneness, the essential oneness is what knowledge we mean by knowledge. Otherwise, the word knowledge is a very broad term. The very knowledge is a very broad term. For example, see, even if you have to do Karma Yoga, you need to have knowledge. Karma Yoga also requires knowledge. Bhakti Yoga also requires knowledge. Everything requires knowledge. Then how are we differentiating? Are you able to follow? Even in Karma Yoga, knowledge is required. What is the knowledge that is required there? The knowledge about the action, the knowledge about the methodology, the knowledge about the consequences. So even in the knowledge with which the right attitude you have to perform action with. So if you look at Karma Yoga also, knowledge is involved. So everywhere knowledge is involved. So why are we segregating and saying this is Jnanam, rest are all not Jnanam? In all other Jnanam, we talk about the doer having to do something to attain something. Here in Brahma Jnanam, we talk about the Aikyam, the oneness. Are you able to notice the difference? Therefore, the knowledge that is required, the knowledge, sorry. Therefore, the knowledge that is, now it is. Therefore, the knowledge that is required, the knowledge that we are talking about here is distinct and different from all other knowledges. I'll repeat it once again. Everything requires knowledge. It's not that Karma Yoga doesn't require knowledge. Karma Yoga also requires knowledge. The knowledge of action, the technique, the result, the consequences, the attitude. So there is a whole lot of knowledge goes into action also. And even when we talk about Bhakti Yoga, there is a whole lot of knowledge going into Bhakti Yoga also. Bhakti Yoga means not hating anybody. Bhakti Yoga means the circle of identification, Abu Ben Adam, all that so knowledge is there everywhere, and yet why are we segregating this as knowledge separate? This clarity we have to get first. For Krishna is saying knowledge, ignorance is destroyed by knowledge. So what is the knowledge here? What does he mean by knowledge? By knowledge, it is meant the oneness. What is the oneness? The Jivatma, Paramatma, Aikyam in Sanskrit it is said. In English, it is said the Atman is Brahman. There is only Brahman. Brahman alone exists. Nothing else is there. There is so this is a completely distinct, different knowledge from any other knowledge. And what removes ignorance? Now you know that there are two types of knowledges we are discussing. Are you able to follow? Now we are having these two types of knowledges. Now what will remove ignorance? The second type of knowledge alone can remove the ignorance. The second type of knowledge alone can remove ignorance. So in that sense, he says, Jnanena tat ajnanam nashitam. Tu means but. Tu means but. But means in relation to the previous but. What is but means? In contrast to the previous person, that ajnanam will get nashitam only by jnanam. Very, very important verse. We have to be very clear on these fundamentals. If you are not very clear on these fundamentals, we will not pursue the path rightly. The last week or the previous class, I asked this question. What are the various ways in which ignorance can be removed? If you remember, what are all the various ways in which ignorance can be removed? If you ask, what are the various ways in which ignorance can be removed, you have not understood what ignorance is. What are the various ways to remove darkness from the room? Of the various ways to remove darkness from the room, light is one way. Will you say that? We are all very liberal people, sir. We are not fanatics. We are all not fanatic people here. We are all very liberal people. So we don't say jnanam alone is the only method. It looks like very fanatic. Therefore, we don't say of the very many methods, light is one way to remove darkness. Very beautifully, Shankaracharya says, knowledge is the only way by which darkness can be, just as light is the only way by which darkness can be removed, knowledge is the only way by which ignorance can be removed. And what is the ignorance? What is the ignorance? God is different, I am different. That is ignorance. What is ignorance? What is ajnanam here? What is ignorance here? When we talk about ignorance not of a particular branch of subject, particular branch of knowledge. We are not talking about that ignorance. What is ignorance? Spiritual ignorance. First layer of spiritual ignorance is there is no such thing called God at all. That is the first layer of spiritual ignorance. The first layer of spiritual ignorance is there is no God at all. If there is God, God would be evident, no? That's why all these Nastika people ask this question. And we also don't know how to answer. If God is there, show us. If you can't show, there is no God. So the first layer of spiritual ignorance is there is no God. For there is a logic to that. What is the logic? If God is there, it would be evident. Since it is not evident, there is no God. How do we break that ignorance? Knowledge. How do we break that ignorance? What is the knowledge that we break? What is the knowledge with which we break that ignorance? There are pratyaksha is not the only means for knowledge. Inference is another important means of knowledge. Therefore, God is not the subject matter of pratyaksha. It is knowledges are gained through inferences also. Therefore, let us investigate through the methodology of Anumanam, Upamanam and all that. By that, We are breaking that ignorance and coming to the second layer. What is the second layer? There is God, but God is superior, I am inferior. God is more powerful, I am less powerful. And I have to worship God. I have to please God. I have to keep God happy, so that happy God will, if I make God happy, that happy God will bless me and make sure what? And make sure what? I will be taken care. My family will be taken care. And God knows the boundary. According to the patta, God knows the boundary of my property. He will make sure that boundary alone is taken care. He will not do anything outside that boundary. Supposing if you have 800 square feet, God knows that 800 square feet and He will protect that 800 square feet. If you have 1800 square feet, God knows that He will protect that. And if you have 5 houses in 5 continents, God knows exactly that and He will protect only that. And that also is removed by knowledge. That limited knowledge of God is also removed by knowledge. When you say, no, you don't have to worship God, you don't have to fear God and all, then that knowledge. Then comes, okay, I see God everywhere, but God and me are eternally, God and me are eternally two. God and me are eternally two. Then another knowledge comes and says, no. It means there are two realities coexisting. If you are also eternally true, if God is also eternally real, then there are two parallel realities. Now, when we say there are two parallel realities, there can be multiple realities. When we say multiple realities, there can be infinite realities. Then of the infinite reality, God is one, doesn't make any sense. Now we go back to the atheist argument. Are you able to follow? At every stage, knowledge removes that layer of ignorance. And the last layer of ignorance is me and God are separate. Me and God is separate. That also gets removed. That tat tvam asi. You are that. So right through, if you see, what has been the common factor in all this? Right through, if you see, what is the common factor? Knowledge. That's all he said. Jnanam is that. Jnanam is the only thing by which ignorance can be removed. But what about yoga practices, sir? What about meditation practices? What about karma yoga? What about bhakti yoga? All this aid in acquiring knowledge. Car is an aid to travel. It's an aid. It is not the direct. What is the direct method? Jnanam is the direct method. The direct means, when we say direct means, what is implied here? The direct means and the only means for gaining, for removal of ignorance is knowledge. As the knowledge increases, what happens? Your idea about God also keeps changing. If you have noticed it, as you are getting more and more established in knowledge, God is not changing. Your idea about God is, your notions about God is changing. Your ideas about God is changing. At one layer, God has to be frightened. You have to fear God. At another layer, you have to love God. At another layer, you have to show bhakti to God. At another layer, you say, there are no two things. Aham Brahma Asmi. The Guru says Tat Tvamasi, you say Aham Brahma Asmi. So in that sense, he says, knowledge alone removes ignorance. So all other knowledges is not Atma Jnana, Brahma Vidya. All other knowledges. What is all other knowledges? The knowledge of Karma Yoga, the knowledge of science and technology, the knowledge of right attitude. All that is not Atma Jnanam. Atma Jnanam is fundamentally different. What is the fundamental difference? There is only one. What? God alone is Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. God alone is Satyam, truth, real. For everything else is temporary, unreal. So what do? We gain the knowledge of Karma Yoga, etc., 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 and purify ourselves. More and more I am purified, that much I would be able to digest this knowledge straight away. So a purified person's absorption of Atma Jnanam is faster. Or how much ever theoretically we know it, the absorption is not happening because we have to do the purification. We have to do the purification process. What is the purification process? The Karma Yoga, etc. All that we are not discussing, for we have seen all that and we have come to this point. And the beautiful example that he is giving here is, see, very rarely in Bhagavad Gita, he will give examples. See, Atma Bodha, if you see, verse after verse after verse, one example. In Bhagavad Gita, rarely you find Krishna giving examples. And here the example is, knowledge reveals the Supreme like the sun. Like the sun. Sunlight removes ignorance in 2 layers. The sunlight removes ignorance in 2 layers. Even before the sun can come up the horizon, there is light. And you can see things very clearly with that light. So the sunlight, even before the sun arrives, the sun sends the light first. He says, I am coming. You know, it's like an indication that I am coming. So in the twilight itself, you can read a book. You can see you can read a book, you can navigate yourself. And then what happens? In a split second, the sun reveals itself, and after that revelation, it's all so brightly lit. It's all so brightly lit. The same phenomena happens within you, he says. Same phenomena happens within you. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. He has said it already. In chapter 2, he has said, you don't really have to wait for sun and all to come and protect you, Arjuna. Even the twilight can save you. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Little bit of this knowledge you gain, Arjuna, protects you from great fears. So this knowledge helps in 2 ways. What are the 2 ways? Level number one, it removes the darkness. From pitch darkness, there is a light with which you can navigate. You can manage. You are not drowned in darkness. Yeah. It's like water up to here. You are not drowned. You are navigating. And you continue the path. Suddenly the sun reveals itself. The sun reveals itself. In Isavasya Upanishad, the sun revealing itself is dramatically said. In mantra 16, the sun reveals itself is said so dramatically in Isavasya Upanishad, mantra 16. Ushanne karsheyama suryaha, he says. Golden disk. See, you're just seeing. Suddenly it comes. There is no suddenly, yeah? There is no suddenly. The last drop appears like sudden. So suddenly, suddenly it will come, it will not come. I have to keep doing the lot of karma yoga, bhakti yoga, purify myself, get rid of the vasanas and whatever they do. I have to do all that. And then the revelation happens. After gaining sufficient knowledge, the first layer of knowledge convinces you to live a life of service and sacrifice. The first layer of knowledge convinces you. The worldly knowledge, ignorance says, take care of yourself. You take care of yourself. The worldly knowledge says, you take care of yourself. Aprama, service, sacrifice, Allah we will do. Allah later, sir. But modalla we will take care of ourselves. ஆத்துல போட்டாலும் அளந்து தான் சார் போடணும். No, you don't do all that. First, you take care of yourself first. Then we will worry about service, and after I take care of myself, whatever extra is there, I will. Whatever extras I have, I will give. And that extra never comes. Nobody is having anything extra to give. Who's got extra to give? Nobody has got anything extra. Yeah. The help, the maid at home, the domestic help who's earning 10,000 rupees, she will not even have 1 rupee extra to give. The person who is earning 3-4 lakhs a month also doesn't have extra 1 rupee to give. The person who's having crores and crores also doesn't have 1 extra rupee to give. Now, who has it? Are you able to follow? So, who has extra to give? Nobody has extra to give. And the maid servant looking at me says, "Ungalku enna sir kashtam?" Yeah, the maid servant looking at me says, "Ungalku enna sir kashtam?" I will look at the fellow above me and say, yeah. I will give one appeal letter to SRL Shankar. SRL Shankar says, "Paakalam sir, konjam kashtamā irukudhu." இல்லையா? இந்த வருஷம் பட்ஜெட்ல அது கொஞ்சம் முடியாது போல இருக்குது. This year budget, it is not possible in this year's budget. Next year we will see. I will come back thinking, what is his problem? Yeah. SRL Shankar will think, what is that person's problem? So down the line, everybody is so convinced what? Service and sacrifice I will do, but first I will take care of. First, having taken care of myself, I would do. First layer of ignorance gets removed. What? You serve, you sacrifice, you will be taken care of. Yeah. You serve, you sacrifice, you will be taken care of. Yeah. இது வந்து பாஷா படத்துல ரஜினியே சொல்லிட்டாரு இது இல்லையா? Rajinikanth in Basha movie says that. The mother asks him, why I am saying that movie is because I have watched that movie 21 times. I have watched that movie 21 times. I have watched. Still I can watch it another 100 times also. Yeah, because he is a Sthita Prajna in that movie. He is a Sthita Prajna in that movie. He's sacrificing for the brothers and sisters. The mother asks, when will you bother about yourself? He says, இவங்களெல்லாம் காப்பாத்துனா அவர் நம்மளை காப்பாத்துவார். So idukalla Krishna vanda. Rajinikanth himself is enough to say. Yeah, Rajinikanth itself is enough to say these things. The auto driver is enough to say these things. But what is Jnanam? What is it that Krishna says? That Jiva Brahma Aikyam, that knowledge. So at one level, knowledge removes the ignorance. What is the ignorance? Serve, sacrifice. You don't bother about yourself. You just live a life of service and sacrifice. You will be taken care of. You will be taken care of. Oh, அப்படியா sir? அப்படின்னா service and sacrifice is a method to be taken care of. You can't cheat the law. You genuinely serve and sacrifice, it will happen. And then what happens? There is an arrogance about service. There is an arrogance about sacrifice. There is the thing about I am superior, others are inferior. All that comes in. Second layer of jnanam comes and removes that also. So it says, who are you to help others? God takes care of everybody. You just do that which you ought to do. That also it's removed. And then finally the question, this I, that's what he's saying. Twilight itself can remove. The twilight itself can remove so much of ignorance that Aikyam comes when the sun comes up. The last bit, for the last bit to come, the sun has to come out. What is the last bit? The last bit of Aikyam. Are you able to follow? Last. So that's what he says. Like the sun come. The worries, the anxieties, the stress and strain, everything removes by the twilight itself. In the twilight layer, stress, strain, allam poidum. Worries and anxiety, all that will go away with the twilight itself. Swalpam knowledge is enough. You don't need to have the entire knowledge to take care of stress and strain, worry and anxiety. Little bit of this knowledge, superficial layer of knowledge itself will take care of stress and strain, worry and anxiety. Not to get stuck at the superficial layer, you need to penetrate deeper and deeper and deeper, and you rest only after the Aikyam happens. You don't rest till the Aikyam happens. Don't rest till the Aikyam happens. Knowledge keeps on saying, the Aikyam has not yet happened, get back. The Aikyam has not yet happened, get back. The Aikyam has not yet happened, get back. This is the knowledge that says what? Ignorance is destroyed by knowledge. In them, knowledge reveals. What does the knowledge reveal? The knowledge reveals the essential. The knowledge reveals the essential oneness. It reveals the essential oneness. And this essential oneness, once it is revealed completely. This essential oneness doesn't get partially revealed and all. This essential oneness doesn't get partially revealed. It's revealed and that's it. That's why I quoted the Isavasya Upanishad. Mantra 16 and 17. Pushanne karsheyam suryaha. Even before he knows what it is, Aham Brahmasmi, he says. Even before it is revealing the drama, it is revealing as he is trying to know what it is, it's gone and the truth is revealed. What is the truth? Aham Brahma Asmi. Aham Brahma Asmi. So, diagnosis is done very clearly. Treatment, you will have a conviction in the treatment only when you have a conviction about the diagnosis. What is the diagnosis? What is the diagnosis? Stress and strain, worry and anxiety, adella superficial layers. What is the real disease? The diagnosis is done. Stress and strain, worry and anxiety are the disease, are the manifestations of the disease. Like 101 degrees temperature is not the disease. 101 degrees temperature is the indication of an infection inside. So two ways you have to do. What is the first one? Attend to the temperature and attend to the infection. The mother out of ignorance believes the 102 degree temperature is the disease. The doctor says 102 degree temperature is not the disease. Though he helps you to deal with the temperature, he helps you to deal with the infection also. Knowledge does both. And most of the people get satisfied with the reduction of temperature. They are very satisfied. They go back thinking disease is gone. Yeah. Because reduction of temperature itself looks like a freedom. No. Reduction of temperature itself looks like freedom, and people go back saying, I am all right now. Doctor says, finish the course. Don't stop it. Finish the course. Don't stop it halfway. We say, no, I am cured. Why do I have to continue? Maybe the doctor and the pharmacy company have a tie-up. Yeah. Maybe the doctor and the pharmacy company have a tie-up and they simply want to market it. They simply want to give us the medicine even when it is not. Now, what can you do to that person? What can you do to that person? What can you do? Nothing can be done. So what the doctor says, as you are taking the first aid, which is the reduction of temperature and all that, ensure that the infection is gone from the root. So now there are two layers. One is the disease, another is the symptoms. Symptomatic treatment don't get satisfied. Don't get satisfied with the symptomatic treatment. That itself is a relief. Symptoms ponale or relief tha. That's what he says, the twilight. That is the twilight. That itself is a relief. From pitch darkness, the twilight itself is a big relief. But Krishna says, don't stop there. Continue to grow. Continue to grow. We will say, first twilight varla sir. Aprom we will see. First we will come to the level of the twilight and then we will see all this. Chapter 5, Karma Sannyasa Yoga. The assumption is you have crossed the twilight. So beautiful is this example. Ramatirtha gives a beautiful example. Same concept. Ramatirtha gives another example. He talks about the lake covered with moss. The lake is covered with moss, the water, where you can't see your reflection. One way of seeing your reflection is forcefully separate the moss. You plunge into the lake and forcefully separate the moss, you can see your face. Even before you can recognize your face, they gather back. They gather back. Another method is what? Remove the moss bit by bit. Remove the moss bit by bit. JCB machine we will remove, sir. All in bit by bit. We don't want to do with the. We'll bring the machine and remove everything in one way. Water goes out. Nothing will be left. Yeah. Remove it bit by bit. What happens? As you take a little moss out, the mantle becomes thinner. As you take the little moss out, the mantle becomes thinner. A time comes where It's so thin that it dissolves by, it separates by itself. That separating by itself is the experience, the anubhava of aham brahmasmi. See, as we are listening to this itself, we feel like we are getting there. No, as it is explained itself, we feel like some, correct sir, unga class la something is happening in my body and I am getting closer. Huh? Just as knowledge, just as sun reveals itself, knowledge reveals itself. And what is the knowledge? You should not stop till the aikyam is achieved. As you are progressing in the path itself, there are lot of relief, lot of bliss, lot of satisfaction. So many things happens as you are progressing itself. But do not stop. Do not stop anywhere. Continue to grow. Continue to grow. Symptomatic treatment and removing it from the core. Ideal methodology of treatment is doing both. The ideal method is to deal with both. Dealing the symptoms gives you an immediate instant relief. By working on the infection which is deep rooted, you get a permanent relief. So there are two kinds of relief, a temporary relief and a permanent relief. Knowledge gives both. Twilight gives a temporary relief. The arrival of the sun gives the permanent relief. So knowledge helps you in both ways. It gives you a temporary relief and it also gives you the permanent relief. But Arjuna, most of the people get stuck at the temporary relief itself. The temporary relief itself is so gratifying, is so satisfying that they do not want to proceed any further. Here the advice is karma sannyasa, to not stop till you get there. Are you able to follow? The diagnosis is done. The treatment is given. What is the treatment? Knowledge is the treatment. So that which gives you a temporary solution cannot give you a permanent solution. This is very, very important. That which gives you a temporary solution cannot give you a permanent solution. Therefore, we go back to the fundamental formula of spiritual journey. We go back to the fundamental formula of spiritual journey. What is the fundamental formula of the spiritual journey? Jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. Verse 3, chapter 3. That verse 3, chapter 3 verse takes so much of explanation. Up to chapter 6, that much of explanation has to be given for that one verse, because that one verse is the formula. What is the formula? Jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. Therefore, Vedantic path to evolution is not many paths, many stages in the same path. Understand the difference? All paths lead to the same goal. Vedanta comes and says, there are no many paths. There are stages in, there are stages. The path is singular. The stages are many. Are you able to follow? Otherwise, I have heard any number of people saying, Sir, anyway, ultimately all are saying the same thing, no, sir? Ultimately, everybody is saying the same thing, no? At least now you should be able to understand that all are not saying the same thing. For in stages it will differ, and we should be able to accept, we should be able to have that much of objectivity and intellectual strength to understand that there are stages. But stages doesn't mean superior. If you conclude that it is superior and we are superior, then we say it is wrong. Are you able to follow? It is not superior, it is stages. We will not say the 12th standard student is superior to LKG student. Can you say that? If the 12th standard student says, I am superior to the LKG student, we'll say, you are wrong. But then, definitely 12th standard is a higher level of knowledge than LKG. Doesn't mean that it is superior. Are you able to follow? This is how this knowledge brings about the right clarity of seeing things. Yeah, right clarity. It exposes things very, very clearly. Otherwise, we keep saying all paths lead to the same goal. All are saying the, sir, ultimately, anyway, all are saying the same thing, no, sir? At least now what you should say. At least now what you should say. All are not saying the same thing. There is no God. God is superior. We are part of God. We are God. Are they saying the same thing? Are you able to follow? Again, I ask this question. Ask this to yourself. There is no God. There is a God who is superpower. We are all part of God. We are God. Are they saying the same thing? At least that conviction you should have, no? And distinct and different from saying where there is all are God versus you are versus there is only God. So in that sense, he says, knowledge reveals. That's why he says, Karma Yoga cannot give moksha, Bhakti Yoga cannot give moksha, Jnanam alone gives moksha. Sir, உங்கள்கிட்ட அதுதான் சார் ஒரு problem. You are so phonetically attached that you are calling all the rest as not helpful for moksha, and only what you say is helpful for moksha. We'll say, don't worry, let's go to the next verse. Why? Because you have not followed the logic. All are not saying the same thing, and there is a difference in stages. Jnana yogena sankhyanam, karma yogena yoginam. In karma sannyasa yoga, what has happened to the spiritual, the traveler in the spiritual journey? What has happened? He has come to a very good level of evolution. He has come to the very good level of evolution from karma yoga, from motivating you to action, from motivating you to be in action till the last breath. There is no such thing called retirement. And then bring in the karma yoga principle, and then bring in yajna karma. Look how in different stages the knowledge builds it up. And moksha can come only through knowledge. very beautifully. He says, in whom ignorance is destroyed by knowledge, in them knowledge reveals the supreme like the sun. With this, we finish verse number 16 and we move on to verse number 17. Verse number 17, please. வெங்கட் அது கொஞ்சம் போட்டுட்டு நீங்களே கொஞ்சம் படிங்கோல.
तद्बुद्धयस्तदात्मानः तन्निष्ठास्तत्परायणाः गच्छन्त्य पुनरावृत्तिम् ज्ञाननिर्धूतकल्मषाः तद्बुद्धयस्तदात्मानः तन्निष्ठास्तत्परायणाः गच्छन्त्य पुनरावृत्तिम् ज्ञाननिर्धूतकल्मषाः.
With mind and intellect established in that, with that as the supreme goal, they whose sins have been dispelled by knowledge reach a state of no return. With mind and intellect established in that, with that as the supreme goal, they whose sins have been dispelled by knowledge reach a state of no return. Punaravrittim. Apunaravrittim means they do not return again. They do not come back again. Verse number 16 spoke about the state of human perfection. Perfection now will be talked about in relation to the time, past, present and future. First described the state. Now the same perfection is described in terms of the past, present and future. This verse talks about the enlightened person's reference to the enlightened person's past. The next two verses draw references to his present and future. I'll explain that. This is the idea. Once we start explaining, it becomes easy to follow. Perfectionism meaning has to be explained in terms of past, present and future. If it is established that in the past, present and future it is the same, it is real. If it is different in the past, different in the present, going to be different in the future, then it is not real. Now he is establishing that. This verse is in relation to the enlightened person's past. With mind and intellect established in that. Mind and intellect established in that. With that as the supreme goal, whose sins have been dispelled by knowledge. This is the clue. Whose sins have been dispelled by knowledge. Whose sins have been dispelled means Jnana Nirdhuta Kalmashaha. Whose sins have been dispelled in the past tense. They reach a state of no apunaravrittim. They reach a stage of no return. Yat gatva nanivartante tadhama paramam mama. Elsewhere, he says, Yat gatva nanivartante tadhama. Having reached there, there is no coming back. There is no coming back means no punarjanma. Now, see, it is poetry. You have to understand the verses are in poetry. When we are explaining, we explain it in the order. Poetry means it will be jumbled up. Poetry knowledge jumbled up. So when we explain it in order. What is the order? Tatparayanaha is the first stage. The growth. How did it happen in the past? Tatparayanaha. Tatparayanaha means with that as the supreme goal. With that as the supreme goal means in the past, he had kept the goal. What is the goal? Tattvamasi he has heard and wanting to know that has become the goal. Tatparayanaha. With that as the ultimate goal. The ego has lot of limited goals. Ego, the jiva, the ignorance has lot of limited goals. From all these limited goals, the person has moved on to the only goal. What are the limited goals? What are the limited goals? I should be happy. I should be safe, secure. I should be safe. I should be secure. I should be happy. நிம்மதியா சந்தோஷமா இருக்கணும் சார், அவ்வளவுதான். What else is there to life? மனுஷனுக்கு வாழ்க்கையில என்ன சார் வேணும்? என்ன, I don't know what you, they ask that question and they answer. சார் வாழ்க்கையில என்ன வேணும் மனுஷனுக்கு? மனோகர், நிம்மதி வேணும், சந்தோஷம். அது இருந்தா when we get these, what is it? Peace, security, happiness. And this peace, security, happiness and all that I can get from the external world. Peace, security, happiness. Okay. இதெல்லாம் எங்க இருக்குது? Objects and beings. More and more and more objects and beings come, more peace, more security, more happiness. Tatparayanaha is an indication that he has transcended this ignorance. Tatparayanaha is an indicator that he has transcended this ignorance. Why it is called ignorance is because objects and beings, the hope of happiness, peace, security is there in the objects and beings. But what objects and beings actually give? Hope and expectation is happiness out of it. Yeah. But what do they give actually? Appears like Amrita in the beginning and turns out to be Visham at the end. Appears to be like Amrita in the beginning and turns out to be Visham at the end. Looks like joy in the beginning and shoka at the end. First shoka வந்து அப்புறம் நிம்மதி வந்தா பரவாயில்ல. Happiness comes first and shoka comes. This is delusion. So first stage, tatparayanaha means the person has understood this and he has kept moksha as the goal. So what is stage number 1 moksha? Moksha liye stages I will tell you. What is stage number 1 moksha? Even when the situations are not up to my expectations, I am still managing myself. அதுவே ஒரு பெரிய moksha. That itself is a very big moksha, no? Even when things are not up to my expectations, I still say, okay sir, life na இப்படி தான் இருக்கும். I accept that life is that and I'll tide through this. Time will, this itself looks like moksha. Tatparayanaha. Then comes the knowledge. Krishna comes and says, what is your true nature and where are you? Can't you see the gap between what the Shastra says and where are you? What does the Shastra say? Apuryamanam machala pratishtam purnamadav purnamidam. What is that state and where are What is that state of joy and bliss and all that compared to where you are? So what do? You say, no, no, no. I turn into a spiritual seeker. I have got direction in my life now. Tatparayanaha is the indicator that direction is set. Where direction is set. Having set the direction, what do I do now? Okay, sir, direction set ಆಯ್ತು. What do I do? Tat buddhayaha. With mind and intellect established in that. First tatparayanaha. Every tatparayanaha, how did he arrive at tatparayanaha? We explained. Now the direction is set. Having set the direction, are you able to follow? How he is so beautifully packing everything. Having set the direction, what do we do now? Direction வந்துருது சார். என்ன பண்ணணும் இப்போ? With mind and intellect established in that. Having set the direction, don't let the mind go back into the world again. Having set the direction, don't let the mind and intellect still drive you back to the world. Mind and intellect established in that means what? Mind and intellect established in the scriptural knowledge. Enna tatparayanaha, what is going to take you there? Mind and intellect established in that. Now, in that can be two things. That can be Shastra, that can be Brahman. Are you able to follow? First stage, mind and intellect absorbed in Shastras. Mind and intellect absorbed in Shastras means what? Whatever the Shastra says, whatever the Guru says, I will do. Anything that is not said in the Shastras, anything that is not said by the Guru, I will not do. I used to think, when will I ever come to that stage? I used to think, even now I think, oh my God, if at all I can come to this stage, itself looks like a very good development of growth. When will I ever come to a stage where I will do only what the Shastra has said? I will do only what the Guru has said. I will not pick and choose. This is called with mind and intellect established in that. Sir, classல எல்லாம் நீங்க சொல்றதை கேட்டுறோம். அதுக்கு அப்புறமா we will do what we are able to follow. This is what is meant by mind and intellect established in that. Through logic and reason, you are convinced. Your mind is also feeling it. So you have a devotion to that. Mind means devotion. So you have a devotion, and logic and reason also is there. So it means what? The devotion and logic and reason go hand in hand. They are not in conflicting with each other. Both have merged. Both have merged. Otherwise, logic says one thing, devotion says something else. Sanda renduthukkum illaya? There's an inner split. Devotion says one thing, logic says something else, and invariably, what will win? Kutarka will win. Yeah, invariably, the Kutarka will win over a devotion. Enna pandrathu? With mind and intellect established in that. See, you will explanation கொடுத்தாதா it is past tense என்றது establish ஆகும். Unless you explain it in this way, then only it is justified that it is in past tense. Because we saying in the commentary, he is saying that it is past tense. He is talking about the past tense. Avladhan he says. From this past tense, we derive this. It is our derivation. If all this has to be put in the book, commentary will be 20,000 pages, 30,000 pages. Clear? தூக்கறதுக்கே ஒரு truck வேணும். So what he does, he just gives it in in a concise formula way he gives it, that we take it up and elaborate. All that he is saying in the commentary is, it is enlightened person's past. Now, what all happens in the past? The entire journey has to be accounted in the past. How do we account for the entire journey? First thing is tatparayanaha. Second thing is tat buddhayaha tadatmanaha. Established in, that means established in shastras. Then the next stage. What is the next stage after established in the shastras? What is the next stage? Adu English soldungo sir, we don't know what you are going to say, because whatever we say, you are not going to agree, you will say something. So you might, you only say what it is. What is it? There are very many methods, they said, for purification. Do not get attached to any purification process. Sannyasa, the path, and then sannyasa to the path. The path is set, and then they say, don't get attached to the path. Renouncing. See, up to the previous stage, theoretically it is easy. Yeah? Up to the previous stage, theoretically it is easy. And the difficult portion starts now. What is it? With that as the supreme goal, with mind and intellect established in that, whose sins have been dispelled by knowledge. Whose sins have been dispelled by knowledge. What is the sin? What is the sin? What do you identify the I with? You say, I. The I is identified with what? Here, the I is identified with the Brahman. What is this? If you remember, yesterday we spoke about one thing. What? Yesterday we spoke about one thing. What did we spoke about? Remembering your true identity, you play the role. Again I repeat. Remembering your identity, you play the role. This is called sannyasa. This is called sannyas. Remembering the identity, you play the role. By this constant remembrance, what happens? The vasana for the abhyas. By this constant practice, what is created in you? The mumukshatva, and then you realize Brahman, na punaravrittim. Reach a stage of no return. Na punaravrittim. Reach a stage of no return. Are you able to follow? So what is the practice? The practice is I am playing the role. I am playing the role of the father. I am not the father. I am playing the role of the husband. I am not the husband. I am playing the role of the wife. I am not the wife. I am playing the... So all becomes only... All are only playing the roles. And Karma Yoga and all that have taught you already. When you play the role, you play it with sincerity, you play it with dedication, you play it with all that is already implied in it, because all that knowledge has already taught already. All that has come into you already. what is it, the sannyas here? What is sannyas? Sannyas is nothing but disassociating the I from the role to the reality. That's what sannyasa is all about. Are you able to follow? Again, I repeat. What is it? Disassociating the I. It's the role. Role means what? Role means what? Has a beginning, end. There is no permanent wife, permanent husband. There is no permanent. It has a beginning, it has an end. Role means first, it has a beginning and an end. Number two, role comes with its own context. Role comes within a context, and context means limited, changing. Are you able to follow? The role comes with the context. What is the context? That's why I give this example. When my child is 10-year-old, I have to spend more time. When my daughter is 20-year-old, I need not spend that much time. When she is 30 years old, it is her life. She has to lead her life. I am there at the backdrop to help her. But then the context changes, the way in which the role also. Opposite of that is what? What is attachment now? Are you able to follow what is attachment now? What is attachment? 30, 40, 50, 60, I don't let go. Don't go. No, this is called at 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. No. At no point of time we let go. Why? Because we have not understood the role, and the role means a context. Third thing about the role is it comes with do's and don'ts. Role always comes with do's and don'ts. Are you able to follow? The role comes with do's and don'ts. And do's and don'ts itself means it is limited by nature. Do's and don'ts itself means it is limited ignorance by nature. Therefore, whose sins have been dispelled by knowledge. What is sin? Sin means mental agitations. Mental agitations arising because of the holding on to. The mental agitations arising because of you holding on to. What is holding on to means? Wrong identification. You have assumed that you are the role. If you observe every one of us, we all would have given one role a primary importance. Everybody here. Everybody would have given, we all play very many roles. Of the very many roles, we all would have given one role primary importance. A person working in an office, he has given that role so much of importance that all other roles he neglects. Another person gives so much of importance to the role of being a family person. Okay. Even in his office desk, he will have the picture of his children. I have seen in some places where in the office desk, they have the picture of their. Why do you have to have the children's photograph in the desk? Have you ever seen? I don't know whether I have seen in quite a few places. Why do they do that? It means what? That role they have given. You should not forget them. That role, are able to follow? So in most of the cases, we give exaggerated value to one role, and that's what we believe we are. That's what we believe we are, and we also expect others to agree to that. And we also expect others to agree with that. Wherever I am going, I am thinking of you, Elaine. And there are people in the wallet, they keep the family photograph, no? Some people keep the pictures of all put together. Layer. One layer la Sai Baba, another layer la wife and children, another layer la something else. All these are indicators of what? Where your identity is. Whatsoever you have identified with, that will produce mental agitations. Through knowledge, what he has done, jnana nirduta kalmashaha, whose sins are dispelled by knowledge, means where all he is identifying through knowledge, he has removed that identification. He didn't remove the action, he didn't stop the action, he only removed the wrong identification. Are you able to follow? He only removed the wrong identification. By doing all this, what has happened? Apunaravrittim. Punaravritti means returning again and again. Apunaravritti means not returning again. This person here, with that as the supreme goal, with mind and intellect established in that, sins have been dispelled by knowledge, they reach a stage of no return. They reach a stage of no return. Apunaravrittim. Yad gatva nanivartante taddama paramam mama. Yad gatva nanivartante taddama paramam mama. Beautiful is this explanation of the enlightened person's connection to the. This verse speaks of the state with reference to an enlightened person's past. Next to two verses, the present and the future, that we will take up in the next session, not today. Today, we have only expressed it in relation to the past. With this, we conclude the verse. What is the past? Past means vasanas, cycle of birth and death. Past means vasanas, cycle of birth and death. And this verse talks about birth and death is removed. I'll take up the few clarifications. Venkatachalam. Can we say all other knowledge, karma, bhakti, are all worldly knowledges and different from Brahma Vidya? Is Dvaita ignorance then? Yes. By the analysis, you would have gotten the answer. Yes. Yes. The question is karma, bhakti and all worldly knowledge? We would not call it as worldly knowledge. We would say it is also spiritual knowledge. It is also scriptural knowledge. Karma bhakti is not worldly knowledge. Karma bhakti is scriptural knowledge, but not directly giving moksha. Karma bhakti is not worldly knowledge. Worldly knowledge means materialism is worldly knowledge.
Okay.
Materialism is worldly knowledge. Karma bhakti is not worldly knowledge. They are a purification process. In that purified person, Brahmajnanam reveals. Brahmajnanam happens.
Yes.
Brahmajnanam is not a taught knowledge. Brahmajnanam is the revealed knowledge. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga is taught. Brahmajnanam is not taught. Brahmajnanam is it's a revealed knowledge. That is why there is a fundamental. All other knowledges are taught. Brahmajnanam is not taught. Brahmajnanam is revealed. Revealed means that which is there already. Is it okay?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Bharat, I have a question. Not able to frame the question. Bharat, we will talk about it.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll talk about this, Bharat. Okay?
All right.
Yeah.
You want me to say it or later, sir?
No. Oh, yeah. Say it now. Say it.
So, Namaskaram. First of all, thank you. I'm not coming on video because I'm not in a position.
Yeah, I know. No problems. That's why I thought it will be a struggle to speak. I thought you're okay to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you hear me then?
Yes. I can hear you.
So basically, in this today's session, you talked about Punarjanmam. Okay. Now, the question is, or my doubt is more related to that. If you ask about a Janmam per se,
Yes.
it is consisting of two aspects. One is the
Yes.
spirit and the matter.
Yes.
And the matter and the spirit are independent because
Yes.
of the spirit enlivens the matter, and that's the reason why we have life. Now, the matter by itself is innate because it has got nothing to do. And basically, the entire exercise of self-realization is to understand the spirit behind the matter and then reach the state of realization.
Yes.
The question, so the point is that when these two are not attached in any way, the Indriyanis or whatever we have got absolutely a role to play, no doubt, in disciplining the matter. But at the same time, how does this Punarjanmam, and it takes multiple Janmas, is what they're saying before we can even think about reaching that twilight of, the twilight of realization, like what you said, the sun is coming out, even that particular first feeling of the sun itself, it takes so much of knowledge and then it reveals itself. So while the matter is all completely destroyed and it is coming back in different nama rupa, and only thing which is permanent is the spirit. How does this union at every point in time, and how does this Punarjanma be explained in this fashion? Clear, because let's say for this Janma, I've done some amount of discipline and I have tried to train my mind through my intellect in setting up a goal, but I may not be able to reach the goal because the goal is very, very high. So I have to take one more Janma, let's say the next Janma.
Yes.
And obviously it picks up from somewhere because they say that, Punarjanmam is like, then again it picks up somewhere, etc. How does that aspect, because matter is the one which carries the intellect and also the mind, and
Correct.
It is destroyed.
Yes.
So how does the whole thing get unified, or at least there is a stream of the semblance of something which is a chain which is happening?
Yeah.
Which is a little intriguing for me.
Yes.
I don't know whether I made it clear.
Yes.
Very
I'll
confused,
explain.
but
yeah, I'll explain the question.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. உங்களுக்கு எவ்வளவு மூச்சு வாங்குறதுன்னு பார்த்தேன், அதுக்கு தான் இவ்வளவு நேரம் பேச விட்டேன்.
I'm perfectly all right. I'm able to do a lot of things.
Good, very good. So nice to hear you, and so nice to hear you back. Now the question that Bharat is asking is, okay, we talk about all this, fine. Go from the basic step. Spirit plus matter. Spirit plus matter. Matter is insentient. Jadam it is. We have called the matter as Jadam. The very word matter itself means it is Jada. So having said matter as Jada, there is this consciousness. Okay, we refine the matter, we control the matter, we make all that better and better, all that is okay. But how does the shift from leaving the matter in toto and come to the spirit happens. Bharat, am I correct?
Yes, correct. That is correct.
Yeah, that's what, correct. Now, that's what the question. Are you able to, is the question clear? Now the answer is, matter is reflected consciousness. That is why we talk about matter as conditioned consciousness, reflected consciousness. Matter per se cannot exist. Matter per se doesn't have life. The very fact that it has come into existence means there is an aspect of chit in it. There is an aspect of consciousness in it. That is why we use the word, reflected consciousness. One of the brilliant Vedantic explanation is the idea of reflected consciousness, conditioned consciousness. There is the street. In the middle of the street, there is the mirror, and the whole street is reflected in the mirror. And the reflected street and the real street looks alike, but there is a fundamental difference. What is the fundamental difference? The difference is it is reflected. It is reflected. The reflected consciousness have a choice to understand that it is the pratibimba, the reflection, and leave the reflection and get back to the original. That is jnanam. The whole challenge is to understand that it is reflected consciousness is the challenge. To leave that, it is difficult to understand the reflected consciousness. In the reflected consciousness, conditioned consciousness concepts, we will discuss in detail when we go to chapter 7 and 8, where we are going to talk about that. There, some of the verses, we will elaborate it in detail. But to answer Bharat now, it is the reflected. It is the reflected. The matter derives its vitality because matter itself is consciousness conditioned. It is consciousness. Are you able to follow, Bharat? It is consciousness, but consciousness conditioned. So the effort that it does is to remove the conditioning. So I am consciousness conditioned. The fact that I believe that I am conditioned is ignorance. So what is knowledge? It says conditioned consciousness is ignorance. You are consciousness. But to come to this level of thinking and understanding requires a lot of Shravana, Manana, Tapas and all that. But the answer is this. Think about it. I'm not giving you the entire answer. I'm just giving you an indicator to think. Because the whole explanation will take 45 minutes. I can go step by step. It will take 45 minutes. You think about it, and if you still have something, we will discuss it again. But the answer is matter is not that which is separate from consciousness. Matter is conditioned. Conditioned by what? Conditioned by the instrument. What is jnanam? Jnanam is to remove the conditioning. So jnanam doesn't destroy the matter as it were. Jnanam destroys what? Jnanam destroys enlightenment. Moksha is that which says you believing that you are conditioned consciousness is That notion is destroyed. Correct. That notion is destroyed. And that notion getting destroyed intellectually first, experientially next. That notion gets destroyed intellectually first. That notion getting that notion getting destroyed intellectually is the twilight. Experientially removing it is aham brahmasmi anubhava. This is how it works. Are you okay, Bharat?
Yeah, I have to think through this, but I think what you're so basically the first ignorant aspect I had was
Yes.
matter does and consciousness are different. Basically,
Yes.
you have given me a clue saying that it is part of the entire thing.
Yeah, correct. That is the clue. Correct. I said the misunderstanding is matter is separate, consciousness is enlivening it as though, because in the way that we figuratively talk about it, the bulb is separate, electricity is
Enlivening it, yeah.
enlivening.
Lighting it.
So we take that comparison and too literally, and there is a misunderstanding. To remove that misunderstanding, I said it is called that's why we use the word, no? Conditioned consciousness, reflected consciousness, all that means what? That's the clue. Are you able to follow? Use this clue and you continue with that, it becomes easy. Correct. That is the clue, Bharat.
Thank you, sir.
So,
Thank you.
so matter is not that which is separate from
Consciousness.
consciousness. Matter assumes that it has a separate identity from consciousness. Matter assumes that it has a separate identity and consciousness enlivens it. Jnanam is to come and say there is no separate identity. That abheda, that segregation doesn't
It's not there. Correct.
exist at all. But then why do we say that in the knowledge proceeds from known to the
Unknown.
unknown? Since knowledge proceeds from known to the unknown, it is easy to talk about both as separate entities and then at a higher level merging it. Stage number one, we talk about it as though they are separate. But then even when we are talking about it as though they are separate, knowledge has left enough clues. What is the clues? It is not consciousness enlivened matter. The matter itself is called conditioned consciousness. Correct?
Right.
How many times we have used it? Matter itself is called reflected consciousness, conditioned consciousness. It means what? The conditioning is a wrong notion. Think in this angle, it becomes very clear. Is it okay, Bharat?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Pratibhimbam.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Right. Venkatachalam, conditioned consciousness is an appearance. Yes, it is an appearance. The very conditioning makes it to believe that it has an identity. Are you able to follow? See, the very fact that there is this structure makes me to believe that I am separate from, makes me to believe that I am separate from you. Are you able to follow? The very form itself makes you to believe that there is you have a separate identity. Knowledge is to remove this identity. It is an appearance. Appearance means not there. Yeah. Yes, ma?
Sir, by
yes.
matter you are referring to this I am the body. That is what you call as matter.
Yes, I am the body. Yes, I am the body. Correct.
My identification with the body.
Yes, that is matter. Identification with the body. Correct. I am the body.
Thank you, sir.
Birth of the body is birth of me. Death of the body is death of me. Identification with the body. Correct. With this, we conclude for today and we continue with verse number 18 onwards in the next.
Two more clarifications there.
Huh?
Two more
Oh.
clarifications.
Oh, two more is there.
Shrikant.
Shrikant. Sorry. No, Pagvele, Shrikant. Sorry. We have discussed nature with Swadharma earlier and with Swabhava now. Can we say Swabhava is the expression of the I identified with instruments, and Swadharma is the expression of the I, the real self? Shrikant, you are right. You can use it in that way. You can use it in that way. Shrikant is asking, we have discussed nature. The nature meaning Brahman, as in Swadharma with Swabhava now. Now, the Swadharma and Swabhava can be interchangeably used. Sometimes Swadharma will mean the little self and Swabhava means the bigger self. Sometimes we use it exactly in the opposite. Swadharma means the higher self, Swabhava means the lower self. Vedanta, why it is so difficult is because sometimes we use the word mind to mean the intellect. Sometimes we use the word mind to mean the intellect. We use the word intellect to mean the mind. That is where it gets very, very confusing. Similarly, the word Swadharma and Swabhava. Swadharma and Swabhava in one context means the nature of the little self, and Swabhava means the higher self. And the same two words can be used in the opposite way also. Are you able to follow? The same two words can be used in the opposite way also. So in that way, yes, you are Shrikant.
Yes.
It can be used in that way also. You are not wrong if you use it like that.
Okay. I should not fix it in a negative tone for Swabhava.
Yes, you should not fix it like that. You can use it in this way. Okay.
Okay. Because most of the time, so we have heard until we are exposed to this knowledge, we have heard about this word commonly as Swabhava.
Yes.
Not about Swadharma at all.
Yes.
So Swabhava is the attitude, character we say usually in common terms also.
Correct.
Okay. But even Swadharma is that we should not get attached to Swadharma. That is what you say, like we should do the action when we identify Swadharma.
Yes.
And get attached to it.
Correct. There, when we talk about Swadharma, we talk about your individual nature that drives you to action, and you should not get attached to that. Yes, correct.
Because most of the people, even successful personalities we discuss about, they have identified their nature, they are performing it. But when we analyze them, we don't know really about them, but we find they are totally involved in that
yes.
dharma.
Yes, they are involved. Yes, they are involved.
We don't know.
Yes. They may have found their nature and they had become and they would have become very successful in their field of activity, but they are not. They don't have the real knowledge. They are not evolved souls.
Okay.
No doubt they are better than others in that field.
Okay.
So to that extent, they are better.
We don't know whether they have that question, who am I?
Yes, they are not evolved because they don't know this. They don't have the sannyasa. They don't ask this question, who am I? They do not know the aikyam.
Okay.
Seriya?
Right.
Even these people, when they work for the welfare of the life, betterment of life and all, even when they work for the betterment of life and all that, again they have a fallacy. The fallacy is betterment of life for one species they are working. Here we are talking about Loka Sangraha, betterment of life, not for one species, but for the betterment of life for Shreyas for everybody. So it is a completely different level of knowledge. Are you able to follow, Srikanth?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. எல்லாம் முடிஞ்சிட்டா வெங்கட் இன்னும் ஒண்ணு இருக்கா? Prahlad says, Prahlad, I fear if I may not even reach the state of unity with the self. Why do you have to fear? You are that. Fear comes only when you believe that you are separate from that. Fear comes of otherness. Fear comes when you believe the gap between where you are and what you have to reach is huge.
Yeah.
Fear comes only when you believe where you are and where you have to reach. The gap is a lot. This
Yeah.
wrong knowledge brings about this fear. By this repeated Shravana, Prahlad, ketne irungo. By this repeated Shravana, the gap gets the gap gets narrow and narrow and narrow. As it gets narrower, the fear reduces.
Okay. But I fear it that I do not understand things what you say. I have been following these books, but I understand it theoretically, but I do not know what to apply because you say there's nothing to apply in it.
You have what to apply. We very clearly say you have to apply two things. Karma yoga has to be applied. The life of service and sacrifice, working for a higher cause, has to be for the theoretical knowledge to actualize. There is the definite method that is prescribed. But what happens is most of us want to intellectually understand and straight away experience that. The problem is we want to intellectually understand, theoretically understand and straight away experience that. We want to short circuit the path of service and sacrifice. Vedanta says theoretical understanding will not give you the experience. Theoretical understanding must be coupled with the life of karma yoga, which is service and sacrifice. Are you able to follow? So in this classroom, we talk about both. But again, what happens is this knowledge is so theoretically convincing, so intellectually convincing that we immediately want to, as we intellectually understand, we want to experience it also, for which the great master says, the enlightened masters, Krishna and the Bhagavad Gita says, intellectual, theoretical understanding must only give you a conviction to practice a life of service and sacrifice. That practicing service and sacrifice, the karma yoga life, the yajna karma life, would help you to experience it. So one part of the cycle, one side of the story, you are very clear. The other side of it has to be done. For karma is not an understanding, sacrifice is not an understanding. I understand that I have to sacrifice, sir. Correct?
Is it not that?
Sacrifice has to be done. I understand that I have to sacrifice is different from. So sacrifice has to be done. But where we all find it difficult is not understanding enough. He's not understanding that I have to serve and sacrifice. Is that not enough? The answer is it wouldn't. Are you okay?
I have a doubt to ask.
Yes.
That you say that sacrifice is to be done, not to be understood.
Your voice is breaking up. I'm not able to
hear. Yeah, in that case,
yes.
In that case, I do things that I do not like now,
Yes.
but yet I don't know if that is a sacrifice. If I do not like it, should I still continue to do it, thinking that it is the right thing to do?
Prahlad, for this clarification, we have to talk in person. For it cannot be discussed in a classroom like this. Individual thing, we will discuss it in person.
Okay.
Are you able to follow? This can be discussed. Definitely, I am available for discussion, but this cannot be discussed in a in a classroom, because the specifics will be discussed individually. For what I have to tell you individually may not be applicable to the rest. It will be misleading. It will be misleading the others. So in the class, we
Okay.
discuss only the concepts. You can
Okay.
always reach me out. In the individual case, we will discuss it individually. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Venkat mudichida?
One more now.
Oh,
Suresh.
one more on the okay. Suresh. Is the matter refers only to I am the body, or it also includes I am the mind and intellect? Body means Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, Stula Sharira, Karana Sharira. All are called bodies. Where is the difficulty? Bodies means 3 types of bodies: Stula, Sukshma, Karana, gross, subtle, and causal. Suresh is asking, body means only the physical body, or does it include mind and intellect also? Bodies means body. There's no gross, subtle, and all here. Body means body. I identify with the body. I can identify with the gross body, or I can identify with the subtle body, but nevertheless, identification is with the body. Are you able to follow, Suresh? It is a body. It doesn't really matter whether it is gross or subtle, whether it is the physical body or the mind and intellect. It is a body. For here, we are not discussing what you have identified with. Here we are discussing the process of identification. It may be with the gross body, it may be with the subtle body. That doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah.
Are you okay, Suresh? Did you,
Okay.
did you understand?
Yeah, understood, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. அடுத்த கேள்வி வரதுக்குள்ள we will conclude. We'll conclude for today, and all clarifications we will take up in the next session and the verses. Prahlad, you can reach out to me. Hurry.